A young seeker, burdened by the weight of his restless thoughts, traveled to a distant mountain temple in search of peace and understanding. Upon arrival, he found the Zen master seated quietly by a stream, observing the flow of water with calm eyes. The seeker bowed and asked to be taught the path to enlightenment. The master welcomed him warmly and invited him to share tea. As the master poured, the cup began to overflow, spilling the hot liquid onto the table. Alarmed, the seeker shouted, "Master, the cup is full. No more can be added." The master paused, smiled, and replied, "Like this cup, your mind is full of opinions and assumptions. Until you empty it, no wisdom can enter." The seeker, intrigued but puzzled, decided to stay and learn. Each day, the master would assign tasks without explanation. One morning, the master handed the seeker a large stone and instructed him to carry it everywhere. At first, the seeker complied without question, but as days turned into weeks, the burden grew unbearable. Finally, he asked, "Master, what is the purpose of this stone? Why must I carry it?" The master replied, "Why do you carry what you can let go? The stone is your attachment to needless burdens. Set it down and you'll find relief." The seeker released the stone, feeling a surprising sense of lightness, both in body and spirit. Another day, the master led the seeker to a misty forest and stopped near a towering tree. "Listen," the master said, motioning for silence. The seeker strained his ears, catching the faint rustle of leaves, the chirping of distant birds, and the gentle hum of the wind. "What do you hear?" asked the master. The seeker hesitated, then answered, "Only the sounds of the forest." The master nodded and said, "The world whispers its wisdom, but only a quiet mind can truly hear it." Weeks later, the seeker became frustrated with his slow progress and voiced his impatience. The master calmly filled a bucket with water and stirred in a handful of mud. The water turned cloudy, obscuring the bottom of the bucket. The master placed it before the seeker and said, "Be still." They waited in silence as the mud gradually settled, leaving the water clear. "Do you see now?" asked the master. The seeker nodded, understanding that clarity comes not from force, but from stillness. On the seeker's final day at the temple, the master gave him one last task. He pointed to the mountain peak and said, "Climb to the top and bring me a single flower." The seeker ascended with determination, enduring the steep path and harsh winds. Reaching the summit, he found a solitary bloom growing amidst the rocks. As he plucked the flower, he looked down at the vast landscape below, realizing the beauty and impermanence of all things. Returning to the master, he handed over the flower and said, "I understand now." The journey itself was the lesson. The master smiled and said nothing. The seeker bowed deeply, his heart filled with gratitude. As he left the temple, he felt a profound stillness within, carrying the teachings of the master not as words, but as a way of life.